It was a rainy Thanksgiving Eve in 1971. Northwest Orient Airlines Flight 305, a Boeing 727, was cruising at 10,000 feet. The flight from Portland to Seattle was routine. Passengers settled in for the short trip. Little did they know they were about to become part of aviation history. A man using the name Dan Cooper hijacked the plane. Cooper was calm and collected. He passed a note to flight attendant Florence Schaffner. The note changed everything. It claimed he had a bomb. The note demanded $200,000 and 4 parachutes. The flight's trajectory shifted from routine to terrifying. Fear gripped the passengers and crew. The plane became a prison in the sky. Cooper's demeanor was unsettlingly calm. He remained polite but firm throughout the ordeal. He sipped bourbon and smoked cigarettes. His calm demeanor only intensified the fear. He was a chilling enigma in a cheap suit. This was no ordinary hijacker. The pilots, in constant contact with air traffic control, tried to buy time. They hoped for a peaceful resolution. Cooper, however, remained in control. His demands were clear, his resolve unwavering. Flight 305 was now at the mercy of a phantom. News of the hijacking spread like wildfire. The FBI was called in. The airline, Northwest Orient, faced a daunting decision. Cooperate with the hijackers' demands, or refuse and risk the lives of everyone on board. The stakes were incredibly high. Donald Nyrop, the president of Northwest Orient, made the call. He chose to cooperate. Nyrop prioritized the lives of the passengers and crew. He agreed to meet Cooper's demands. The FBI scrambled to gather the ransom money. They assembled $200,000 in $20 bills. Every bill's serial number was carefully recorded. This, they hoped, would help track down Cooper later. The atmosphere at Seattle-Tacoma Airport was tense. The ransom was delivered. Parachutes were loaded onto the plane. Negotiations with Cooper continued during the refueling process. Every minute felt like an eternity for those on the ground and in the air. The wait was agonizing, but finally, after what seemed like an eternity, the plane was ready. Cooper had specific instructions for the pilots. He wanted them to fly southeast towards Mexico City. He demanded a low altitude and slow speed. The Boeing 727, its wings heavy with fuel and fear, took off into the night. With Seattle shrinking behind them, Cooper directed the release of the passengers and some crew members. Relief washed over the freed hostages as they disembarked. Their ordeal was over, but the mystery was just beginning. Cooper kept a small group on board. Pilots William Scoot and Bob Ratajczak, along with flight attendant Tina Mucklow, were his unwilling companions for the next leg of the journey. Florence Schaffner, who had initially received Cooper's note, remained as well. They were trapped in a high-stakes game of cat and mouse, flying through the darkness with a cunning criminal. Cooper, ever the enigma, revealed little about himself. He spoke of injustices but offered no concrete motive. He remained in control, dictating the flight path and keeping the crew on edge. The mood aboard the hijacked plane was a mixture of fear and surreal disbelief. As the plane droned through the night, the small crew and their captor hurtled toward an uncertain fate. The outside world held its breath, captivated by the unfolding drama. The hijacking had become a national spectacle, a real-life thriller playing out in the skies above. Somewhere between Seattle and Reno, over the rugged wilderness of the Pacific Northwest, DBCooper made his move. He instructed the pilots to maintain a specific altitude and speed. Then, with the plane buffeted by wind and rain, he lowered the aft stairs. Strapped with the ransom money and 2 parachutes, Cooper bid farewell to the crew. He stepped into the night and vanished. The crew, stunned and shaken, managed to regain control of the plane. They landed safely in Reno, Nevada. But Cooper was gone. He had become a ghost, swallowed by the darkness and the vast expanse below. The mystery deepened. Had Cooper survived the jump? Or had he met a grim end in the unforgiving wilderness? The FBI launched a massive manhunt. Agents scoured the vast terrain where Cooper was believed to have landed. They searched on foot, by helicopter, and with tracking dogs. Days turned into weeks. The search continued, but Cooper remained elusive. The money, except for a small portion found years later, was never recovered. DBCooper, it seemed, had pulled off the impossible. He had vanished without a trace, leaving behind a trail of questions and a legacy of daring. The FBI launched a massive manhunt. Agents scoured the vast terrain where Cooper was believed to have landed. They searched on foot, by helicopter, and with tracking dogs. Days turned into weeks. The search continued, but Cooper remained elusive. The money, except for a small portion found years later, was never recovered. DBCooper, it seemed, had pulled off the impossible. He had vanished without a trace, leaving behind a trail of questions and a legacy of daring.